Live from the redneck suburbs of Nashville, Tennessee, it's the Podunk Polymath Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the sentiments of a secular, sarcastic, screwed up Southern SJW and skeptic. I'm your host, Christopher Michael Watson. Come on in. This is episode 78 of the Triple Pole. Hope y'all are doing pretty good. Bring my guest on in a minute. But first, I wanted to play a couple voicemails. Now, after last week, and I was sitting there begging for emails, a couple of people in the chat room decided to have mercy. In fact, the main Amy Keel and Jeannie Eichert, both of which people have been on the show before. Let me go ahead and play Amy's voicemail first. I'll have to be, I'm not super fancy, so I have to put it right in the microphone.
Man, that voicemail lady is bossy, telling me what options I can leave for the Triple Po podcast. So, hi, Chris, it's Amy. I'm giving you a drunk dial because nobody's calling your voicemail line, so I thought I would after I've had a couple of drinks. Had a really horrible beer. Not that it's horrible. It was a Munich Helles from Bad Weather Brewery. It's just way too light and way too not dark, like old Rasputin. So that's it. I just wanted to say I like the new format. I like the live on YouTube. I wish I could be there more often, but unfortunately I'm kind of busy sometimes. But everybody should be watching and listening and be in chat where you listen to Amy, but because I'm a girl, you only listen to me 66% of the time, at best. Anyways, love you, bye.
Okay, that was Amy from the Ginger Snaps, of course. Go check out their podcast. Their podcast. I'll put a link. I've said it 100 times. Just go look them. Ginger's Pod, I think, is their Twitter. Look up for Ninja. Can't talk. Ginger Snaps on Facebook, and you'll find them there. I do want to apologize for her for the bossy lady because accidentally I had that the voicemail line forwarded to my phone, and that's the greeting you get for that. I have my own personalized message for the voicemail line. This second person is Jeannie Eichert, of course, friend of the show, and she might have helped a little bit to get the show off the from in the beginning, but give her too much credit, she might get a big hit. All right, hold on.
Hi, it was so great tonight to watch two white guys tell me live how how the world works. Like, that was just novel and so refreshing. It was amazing, and I hope you keep doing more because, well, honestly, I love you both, but don't tell anybody, okay? Because female voices, we have them, and I know you both have them on your show occasionally. Pick somebody. Love you guys. Love you, Chris. Bye.
All right, so that was the voicemail from Jeannie Eichert. Of course, she's not stoned. She just acts like that all the time. All right, now I've been keeping my guest waiting long enough. He is a cat lover. He does some fundraising stuff with Extra Life. He games. I have to ask him about that because I'm not exactly sure how that goes. He's also an atheist activist. I'll let him talk about all of that stuff, of course. And he's a Pens fan, but nobody's perfect. If you'll welcome me introducing Jeff Prebig. How's it going, Jeff?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Chris?
All right. So what's going on, bruh?
Not much. Just relaxing after a really rough week of work. The weather is terrible when you have to work outside.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine that. I'm too lazy for all that.
We're kicking it about between 80 and 90, and degrees, and then somewhere around 75-80% humidity right now. And that's just here in Pittsburgh. I can't imagine what the rest of the country's like.
It's big fun. No, of course, everywhere now it's fucking, apparently there's a fucking heat wave every goddamn where. So, but climate change is totally not a thing,
No.
totally not a thing.
It snows in the winter.
Totally fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. Totally fine. It's cold one day, so it doesn't exist, Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I'm having some issues tonight, so you'll have to forgive me. First of all, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I've grown up, born and raised in Pittsburgh. From an early age, I was raised Catholic, went to CCD, Sunday school. I was confirmed, and then it kind of dwindled as my I'm blanking. Kind of like my curiosity about the world kind of started growing. You wonder why this happens, and then you read a science book, and then that explains it, and you go, oh, okay. And then just as that kept growing, the idea of faith kind of diminished. And I was just a regular ho-hum atheist for quite a long time. In the past couple years, I went through some pretty and I needed something. I noticed I was staying in a lot more. I was not going out. I was not interacting with people. I just wanted to come home from work and just do nothing. And I read a book, and we can talk about that if you would like. I read this book, and it changed my life. It changed the way I look at things. And I realized I needed to use my voice more. I needed to do more. I needed to fight more. And that's when I just logged on to meetup.com, found a local atheist organization, and just ran with it. I have no kids. I have no spouse. I just have all the time in the world to devote to this. So I I could do that. I didn't have money to donate to organizations or anything, but I had time, and that seemed, as of late in the all these atheist communities, it seems that's what's necessary right now. People actually doing stuff. And that's where I've been most of the time as of late.
Okay, so like I said, you're a bit of an atheist activist. Why don't you, first of all, tell me some of the things you're involved with in that milieu, if you will?
Okay. I am a founding board member of the Pittsburgh Free Thought community. Our local skeptical group was affiliated with one of the big national organizations, and we wanted to expand at a rate that they didn't terribly want. So we kind of broke away, made our own 501c3, and just took off from there. I do that. I am a assistant state director with American Atheists as well. So this is a program where they kind of disseminate information to specific people in the country, and then we take that to the local skeptical groups. So most of the stuff goes right to the Pittsburgh Free Thought community. And I'm also connected. I have friends with the local Satanist group as well. And so when the laws are being proposed, or when we do things like on reproductive rights and stuff like that, the information that's relevant to our state, I can then pass on to the local city groups as well. Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Sir.
It seems to me that I've talked about it to death, the license plate issue that I had. That was I wrote a thing on that for the Free Thought Today, the FFRF newsletter that they send out. I wrote a piece on that's in August's edition. Just little stuff like that. We organized a protest of Joel Osteen when he came to Pittsburgh. That was fun. Just all kinds of little stuff. Trying to build a community.
Okay, that's cool. I have heard the atheist license plate story, but you had to have there was a big issue with you getting it, I guess.
Pennsylvania has an online database It doesn't tell you who has it and whatnot. But when you go to apply for a vanity plate, you can look it up and see if someone has it. And that way you don't have to waste time. Excuse me. You don't have to waste time because it's all paper. So when you request one, you print out a paper, you fill it out and send it in, and then they send it back to you. This saves you time. So you don't request one that's already been taken. Excuse me. So I looked up, and just the straight word atheist was already taken. So I replaced the I with a 1. That was not taken. I filled out the form. I sent it in. And then it was funny. Between me hearing back and everything, the FFRF convention was in Pittsburgh. So I got to meet Andrew Seidel and all of the people around there, meet and hang out with them. And I kind of got my activism juices flowing. And then I get a letter saying they rejected it. And I can give you a picture of it. My application, and there's big red pen marks scratched through all of the choices, and it said denied written on it. So I got on Twitter and I contacted Andrew Seidel and I said, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think there's a reason to fight or anything? And he goes, absolutely. Fill out the form on their website and we'll hit the ground running. They contacted the state, they contacted the state, and then FFRF put out press releases. So I had newspapers writing to me and writing articles about this happening. And in that time, the state goes, oh, this was employee error. And they said that they would grant me my license plate. It was a very, very similar to the Kim Davis thing. It seems like just one person with a vendetta against it or whatnot and just denied it outright, thinking it was immoral or indecent or whatever. So if I wouldn't have fought, I wouldn't have got my license plate. This thing wouldn't have happened. And that was at the beginnings of my journey with this activism. So that just really fired me up. My first fight, I won, and I could just run with it, and it all took off from there.
Well, that's definitely kind of sparks things, I guess, when you got some shit like that happen. You get fucking newspapers and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right to you. So yeah. That definitely is a way to kind of.
Yeah. And the piece I wrote in the Free Thought Today was about my experiences with that, because it's been about a year and a half now that I've had this license plate, and I have bumper stickers of all types of atheist stuff and social justice stuff on the back of it. And it's surprising. I mean, I guess it's because we're in a northern kind of urban area, so that I don't get much attention. People are mostly giving me like thumbs up on the road and honking their horn and waving and stuff. Very rarely have I had any negative contact with it. And I think it just helps normalize our point of view. I think it helps to promote it. And, I'm the billboard. Like I said, I'm the straight white guy, so I can take the slings and arrows that are going to be fired at me. Other people don't have that option. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to use it.
Well, I'm sure many people have heard Pennsylvania referred to as Pennsyltucky.
Mm-hmm.
So do you stay within the city limits, or do you ever like wander, into the wilderness or whatever?
That's what they say a lot. I grew up in Washington County, which is southwest of the city. I live in the city limits right now, but I grew up outside of it. And when all of this shit went down with Donald Trump and all this stuff, like, I can't believe it. I'm like, I lived not far from a major metropolitan area, and people were awful human beings. And, you heard family members say racist stuff. And I mean, this type of thing exists everywhere. And the truth be told, I've had no issue with my car. I'm not, blaring my horn, and I try to be a respectable driver and everything. But yeah, this underbelly of hate has always existed. It hasn't just sprung up recently. It's just been quiet. You know what I mean? It's just been lying dormant, and there was a spark that let it out, but it was always there.
Oh yeah, well, it's always been there. And first of all, I wanted to say how I admire you because there's a lot of atheist types that I have some issues with, mostly because they concentrate on that aspect of things,
Mhm.
and they seem to overlook the social justice aspect.
Mhm.
You seem to like do both. So
Mhm.
you put your you know your I can't even talk the mouth. You know, the thing where you do things, you say you walk the
Yeah.
walk and not talk the talk. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do things and you help
Mhm.
people out, and I
Uh,
really appreciate that.
the one thing that the thing I took away from what I wanted out of my activism is I kind of want my atheism to be a non-issue. You don't even think about it. It's just religion doesn't play a factor. Am I a good person or not? And I think that, you know, when I go and do the women's march, and when I go and do what was the one I did? Like I volunteered at Planned Parenthood, and it was very, I wear my atheist t-shirts there to show, hey, we're doing this too. We support the cause. And I think to show atheists doing good things that aren't religion related is kind of where we're going to get a lot of traction. I mean, there's to me, going to the women's march and the gun control march and stuff like that, that's not a religious component to that, but me showing my religion out there, one that's usually looked down upon, showing that we're out there, that we care about other things as well, is very important.
Yeah, like I said, I really admire that about you.
Mhm.
And we'll talk about your shitty taste in hockey teams later.
No problem.
No, but kind of leading into that, you have a I don't know, your main thing is Extra Life.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know what the fuck that's about. Something about gaming and charity.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
intersection there. Can you explain
Mhm.
it a little bit?
Sure. Um, Extra Life is a charity set up by the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. And so what it is it's picture a, when you sign up for a charity 5K or a 10K event, you get your own personal fundraising website, and you donate people donate money to you, and then you go run the 5K. Now, I'm a big fat guy. I'm not going to go outside and run. I'm not going to go outside, period. What this one is a marathon of gaming. So our culminating event is a 24-hour gaming marathon on November 3rd. And it's very loose. You can do it whenever, you can play whatever you want to. And I did that last year as just a, hey, let's see if I can stay up for 24 hours straight and play World of Warcraft, and see what I can do and raise a little bit of money here and there just for fun. And then at the beginning of this year, I got an email about an Extra Life Guild, which is just local people that do the same thing and just want to spread the word more. And when I got involved in that changed everything for me. I mean, I got to go to our local hospital and see what this money goes to and how it actually helps sick kids. Um, our money that we raised just through this in Pittsburgh went to a game room that has TVs and video game systems and all this stuff. And what it is called it's like a no ouch room. So there's no treatment that happens there. Doctors aren't even allowed in this room unless they're going to play video games with the kids. It's a way of kids that are stuck in the hospital to just escape and just hang out and have a good time and kind of forget about all of the stuff that's going on. And when you hear the stories of these kids, it's just, there was one kid I saw that they made necklaces for them. And every time they got a treatment, they put one bead on it. And this kid had over 500 beads on his necklace. He went through 500 cancer treatments. And it's just like, here I am sitting at home playing video games. I'm going to be sitting at home playing video games anyway. I can spam Facebook and Twitter a couple times with a link a couple times a week and try to raise some money for them. And it's that got me into a lot of the community of Extra Life. And these are the most positive people and just gung-ho to help kids, to help sick kids. And let me tell you, being in the atheist community for a while, I needed that positivity. I needed that just surrounding of good fortune and, hey, how you doing all the time. And it's just, so uplifting, and it's hard being an atheist working for Children's Miracle Network, but that religion stuff doesn't play. It's just a funny little thing there. But yeah, that's where I'm devoting a lot of my time now, is just I'm the atheist on Extra Life doing stuff. And completely free to join if anyone wants to. I can give you some links to help out.
Yeah, I was on the last podcast talking to Zach. Is it jeffprebig.com? Is that the...
Yeah, you can use that one. Pre-begged.
No, I'm sorry. I guess I should.
That's no problem.
Fuck you pronouncing.
Oh, there's the Extra Life URL, but I just bought that one to make it easy to send to people. So if you went to jeffprebeg.com, you would see my homepage of what my donation incentives are and all the stuff going on just mine. But you can sign up for your own, and it's all local. So if Chris, you signed up, you could play for the Children's Hospital in Nashville. You could just raise money for your local one. And other people, like there's people that live in one city, but they grew up in Seattle, so they play for the Seattle one. And 100% of the money you raise goes directly to your hospital. There's no cut taken out. They raise money other ways for all of that stuff. So what you raise goes to your hospital, period.
Yeah, I don't game, so I mean, but that's a cool. I mean, there's other things I probably could do. I don't know, beer drinking, if that was a thing, and I'd fucking win. Fucking kid, we could solve poverty tomorrow, probably.
I would love to see a Twitch stream of you just sitting there and we donate $1 and you drink a beer.
I don't know if that'd be a great idea for kids to see, but I mean, if adults, as long as adults, we have to like rate it 18 plus or something.
Yeah.
But if the kids are getting the money, fuck, whatever.
It'd be a lot of fun.
So I kind of picked up. You said you needed all that positivity after being in the atheist community. Do you think there's kind of a negative vibe or something?
Constantly. Do you not?
Oh, I didn't see. Okay, the only reason I asked this is because you have affiliations with atheist organizations.
Yeah,
and I've made no secret sometimes about being a little iffy on some of these more atheisty people sometimes, because they seem to want to concentrate solely on that, and they can be. I mean, especially you know about the whole Lawrence Krauss and all that shit going on. So especially white atheist dudes. So you seem to be a little more, like I said, on the social justice end of things. So do you think do you think there's an issue in the atheist community, not so much the secular humanist community, I guess, with I don't know, just not being, I mean, social justice not being a thing? Or
the problem with the identity is kind of in my head. There's nothing stopping anyone from being an atheist. You need the ability to say, I don't know, and that's kind of it to get into that club. And you don't have to think about other things. It's just, to most people, it seems like there's no God. End of story. Let me fight Christians online. That's what I want to do. I want to just change the world by no, you're wrong. And you got to account for who's on the other side of that computer monitor in my head. It's like just screaming no all the time accomplishes nothing in the grand scheme of things. And because we're atheists and because we have nothing after this life, we're more than anyone required to help people in this life. In my head, Christians can just say, fuck the world, because they have heaven. They have an afterlife to go to, whereas we don't. We need to make this life the best life. And excluding people and, not caring about those humanist social issues is just wrong-headed in my head. And, the atheist issue is important, but we can still, fight for LGBT rights without bringing atheism up.
That's refreshing to hear, actually. because there does seem to be a bit of a. First of all, I want to say hi to Mark Nebo, who's in the chat room.
Hey, Mark. Oh yeah, I do normalize atheism too. He's a he's a big fan of that too.
Well, who wouldn't be? It's refreshing to hear that. And I think there's been a kind of a split between what you might call the social justice, what used to be called atheism plus, like, that's a bad thing. I don't understand why that was ever a bad thing. And like I guess what the pure atheist skeptic side of things, I guess. I don't know. There seems to be a bit of a split there. And frankly, I think that's fine. And people act like, oh, it's a schism. There's different things. People do different things. Humans are tribalistic. I don't see how that's necessarily a bad thing.
And that's the ultimate thing is what are your goals? If your goals is to just shout at people on the internet, fine, do that. Just shout at the right people. shout at the right people. I don't know. It just, like I said, that's the frustrating thing, is to see all of this. And then with that schism is that we're concerned about fighting each other when there's more horrible people in the world that we need to care about. And that's why the Extra Life thing mattered to me, is that they seem to put all of that negativity aside and focus on helping kids. And to me, it's hard to fight with that goal.
Susan Turpin has joined us. Of course, she was on a couple of episode before last. She's a badass. I think she's the treasurer with the Texas Progressive Caucus, if I'm not mistaken.
That's pretty cool.
Right. And she's a general badass. She just got a tattoo of, what was it? Cat? Wasn't there a cat or something? What was it?
Or cat in space, like an astronaut or something.
I mean, come on. You can't be. Texas Secular Caucus. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's pretty fucking badass. And of course, the smile. She's got the greatest smile. Anyway, I don't want to reduce her to that. Just throwing it out there. Okay. Astro Cat. That's right. So I'm glad like I said, I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. I think that's a great thing. Everything I've seen from you online has been positive, has been cool. I'm not sure if guys like you make me suspicious. Like,
go on.
Patrick Crail, when I was hanging out, I'm like, okay, you must be, I used to tell him that you like burying bodies in the backyard or some shit. You got to be doing something wrong or something somewhere. But I'm sure everybody's got their skeletons. Mine are more open than some, but everybody's got their issues. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Mine has helped me. Well, I mean, my dark thing is that I've, been a part of the kink community, the BDSM community, but that taught me everything I ever needed to know about consent.
Well, and real consent,
like yes.
Not fucking 50 Shades of Grey bullshit.
100%.
And I'm not even into any of that. I'm like vanilla as fuck. But even I know from talking to people that consent is like key, and trust and consent are like the two major things.
Number one.
Apparently I've never seen that garbage movie, and I'm not going to pay that garbage movie.
No, don't.
But from what I've heard, it's like none of that's the case.
No.
And it sounds like rape, really, is what it fucking sounds like to me.
It's just, well, I mean, it started as Twilight fan fiction. And to me, it seems like this person did not know what they had ideas. They didn't really research it. And when those movies started to come out, we saw a certain influx of people coming to kink events, and you just need to retrain them.
That's an interesting way to put it, considering the community. Retrain them.
At 100%. They were doing some awful things. Yeah. I don't know if we need to get into stories there. But...
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's cool. So I'm glad all that's the case, and I'm kink. I don't see how that's a dark thing. I'm not a kink shamer, so um, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's another side of you I knew nothing about. Which who would? I mean, it's not like you go, "Hey, how you doing, man? I'm into BDSM. My
Yep.
name's Jeff."
Yes.
Typically, not something you just comes up in casual converse.
Mm.
Although I'll tell you something in this community that
Mhm.
we're loosely termed, I have learned more about sexual things,
Mhm.
various sexual things, than I have in the previous fucking. What am I, 43? I can't even remember my own goddamn age. I'm 44 in like a week, 2 weeks.
Oh, excellent.
For previous like 40 years, I didn't know any of this shit. And all of a sudden, I'm just bombarded by all this stuff. So
Mhm.
it's very refreshing. And I have to admit, I have some hangups I didn't know I had. So
Yeah.
it was good to kind of work those out. And I'm still working through that, some of that stuff.
It's one of those where, you know, when you're at an event and stuff is happening, you got to confront that immediately. And that, I think that is a positive human thing, because we don't often confront our hangups and our negative sides, often, because we try to keep a very, safe bubble with our lives. And that's likewise with, like you said, you confront all your stuff out there right in public, in the eyes of other people while you're doing it. So I think it's a very good thing.
Definitely. I tend to be too honest sometimes, but hey, nobody's perfect, so so a couple of our things that we have in common, of course, I assume our politics
Mm-hmm.
are pretty much in line. Um, so what's up with Trump, man? Are we going to make it, or are we going to like die in a nuclear holocaust? You had to
I told I have I have hope for humanity. I don't know if I have hope for America, because one of the silly internet memes I seen was the Trump making fun of the reporter and saying, "How was this not the thing that
Yeah.
shut him down?" Like, what what could possibly happen anymore? It just keeps getting worse and worse, and Republicans aren't stopping him. Democrats aren't stopping him. It's like, what? I don't know what it'll take for this to end. Um, say Democrats win the House. Okay, now what? I mean, it's like, what's the ultimate goal to me? It seems to just take it for the next 6 years and be done with it. Just move on afterwards. It's like, the speed bump to progress or something, because it's horrible. It's just horrible. It's horrible, the reaction um to all of this. You have the people that defend him, you have the people that don't care, and it's just, I don't know. I think the one thing to take away in my head is, in my opinion, Donald Trump has made America great. Um, I know who the Secretary of Education is. I never knew who that was before. I voted. I've voted since I turned 18 in every election. Now I know who I'm voting for. Before, it was just walk in, cast my vote, and leave. And the presidential ones, I understood who it was. Now I care. It has driven me to follow everything. And while that is, disillusioning and demoralizing, and I think you were the one that turned me on to the weekly list, the podcast. Just every week she has an hour of horrible stuff that's happening in this country, and it just keeps moving. That train just keeps rolling down the track. And now I'm aware of it. Now I'm aware of the community I live in. Now I'm aware of the country I live in. I'm aware of the a foreign perspective of what our country's doing, and how, almost united negative against what we are doing and what we stand for now. I don't know how we recover from that in the short term. I think that the Republicans and the Democrats are playing two different games, and the Republicans are completely winning right now.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say that we have to, everybody needs to keep paying attention. I feel like when it gets to, it's like, I don't know what's with people, humans, I don't know what the fuck it is. We wait to the absolute worst. Things are the absolute fucking worst. And they're like, oh, now I'm going to start paying attention. And I'm not just you or me, just in general, it just seems like. And that's something we need to keep paying attention.
Yep.
I'm hoping this will be a catalyst. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Pay attention to everything that's going on. And I'm hoping if there's a blue wave, it better be okay. So don't get me started on the whole establishment Democrat versus progressive candidates thing.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
No, I'm saying I'm being like fucking Cortez, the lady out of New York or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what the future is right there. Not wrinkly old white men. Okay. We need to get rid of wrinkly old white men. Bernie Sanders, love you, bro, but you got to go. Okay. Sit down. You're not even a Democrat, really. I mean, come on. I mean, that's just my opinion on things. And I feel like sometimes the establishment Democrats are trying to hold, and I've actually heard anecdotal evidence that they go out of their way to kind of keep down kind of the more left of center candidates in favor of the, I guess, neoliberal wing, I guess, if you want to call it that. But that's just, that's just me. What do you think?
I think in my head, basic human decency has to win. If I can't get you to care about your neighbor, I'm not going to get you to vote for my side or vote for my party. I mean, we have to have a revolution of decency. This whole everything that Trump has instilled has to end. I don't care where, like, it's like, again, I don't care where you're coming from, as long as you have the same principles. That's where it is. If you're I don't know. I think the political party system has people jaded and like, you can be unfocused when it's the political party thing. I'll just go in and vote for the Democrats and be done with it, and I don't care. And just everyone needs to care about this, because this, as we've seen, these to borrow a phrase, elections have consequences. You have to care about this stuff.
But the problem is we become so polarized now that and we're in a two-party system, so it kind of makes it difficult to kind of really kind of get a grasp on that stuff.
Yeah. And I, for a long time, was a member of a third party.
Which one?
So, Libertarian.
Oh boy.
No. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll tell you. I came at it from a liberal perspective. Okay. I came at it from, I want this whole issue of gay marriage. That's not the issue. Everyone should be allowed to marry anyone. Like, just focusing on this one person and this one person, that needs to go away. The government shouldn't be involved. So if you want to have 3 people get married to each other, that's fine. Like, I came at it from a completely social idea of freedom. And when I joined the local meetup of libertarians, and everyone came at it from the Republican side of money, 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 I just, like, backed away. And when I hear that, Gary Johnson helped Trump get elected, I'm like, if Gary Johnson wasn't there, all of these people would vote for Trump, and I would be the one voting for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, don't. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole thing. I don't want to get into it, but I'm just saying.
I'm good.
My experience there was 95% of those people were Republicans, and I was the lone person going, yeah, if Gary wasn't here, I'm going for Hillary.
Susan has made a couple of comments I wanted to go ahead and read. One of the top patrons on opening arguments is let this radicalize you rather than bring you to despair. Which I really like. That's what she said. I'm not. And she seemed like an optimistic type. I'm not. So, which I guess it takes both, but I'm personally like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
As a species, I don't even about this particular election. We're just fucked as a species. But okay, I mean, good. We need the optimists. Okay, but as relating to what we're just talking about right now, my skeleton in the closet is that I voted for Gary Johnson in 2012. In my defense, I was a huge idiot. Well, nobody's perfect. At least you admit it.
let me jump in here and say that last year, about December, maybe January this year, changed party affiliation back to Democrat. I've donated money to a local candidate that I really enjoy, John Fetterman. I don't know if you've heard of him. And I also volunteered, or I submitted my application to volunteer for him. I haven't heard back from anything with that, but yeah, my affiliation has changed.
No, that's cool. And in this state, you have to, if you vote in the primary, you don't have a choice. It's not an open primary.
Yes.
So you have to register as a Democrat or a Republican, either one. So that kind of sucks because, I don't want to do that. I'm an independent. I consider myself, I consider myself a leftist, really. But
when I was a libertarian, I went into the primary because, like I said, I have not missed an election. And when you're a libertarian, there's no primary really. But I walked in and the poll person there said, okay, so what party are you? And I said libertarian. And she looks at me weird and goes, what's that? And I'm like, if our poll people don't know what libertarian is, should they be running the polls? What's going on?
They don't train them. They're mostly old people. Let's be real. At least where I go.
Yeah, the same. And half of them are in churches, so
they're elderly folk. Let's just be honest. And half the time they have the polling places in schools and shit. At least around here. I mean, kind of bizarre shit that is. But yeah, getting back to your third party shit, I've been hearing some hemming and hawing about the third parties getting. I don't know why this is a thing again. Oh, the Ohio special election. This came back up because, of course, when Trump got elected, and this is the same thing when W got elected. Which, God, don't you wish you had him back compared to this fucker? Anyway, so they wanted to blame the third fucking party. I'm like, man, you can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and tell me that you want everybody to vote, but then you're bitching about who they voted for. Okay. First off, and go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, especially when voter turnout is at 30%, don't complain about the people that came to vote.
Yeah, I mean, so you're bitching about that. First off, secondly, you're bitching about a party that's like, no, okay. They only come out generally the Green Party I'm talking about specifically, but I think the Libertarian Party, I think generally they only come out for the big ones. And there was some bitching about, which, is to me is fine, which I think is legitimate, that you don't necessarily see them in the local elections or, state elections.
To throw some light onto that, there's a reason for that. And it's something I learned while in the Libertarian Party, is that when you don't have major party status, you don't get easily onto ballots. You need 8 or 10% of the vote in the presidential election to get instantly added to the thing. So Democrats and Republicans always get that. So they're always going to have easy access to be on the ballot. Whereas if I was a libertarian, running in the local election, which everyone tells me I have to do local stuff, I can't go for the big one. I need to gather like 10,000 signatures to get on the ballot. That's the hold that the two-party system has. So it takes a lot of work to get on those local elections, whereas it's a lot of work to get on the national stage, but you have the nation working on it. And once you get that 5-10%, you can get on your local elections then. It's all based on your outcome on that.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But
Mhm.
the only problem is with this one, fuck, I don't even think Green Party even get 5%.
Yeah,
They
that's
were,
the thing.
that's
The
nothing. They were thinking they were going to get more than that, I think.
the libertarians in Pennsylvania said they got like major party status, like major minor part, like in between, so they can get on some elections in the state and stuff like that. And that was just this year because of the Trump election. But yeah, so for a candidate to be on the ticket third party took a lot of effort to begin with, and so of course a lot of people are going to vote for that person. Just because I put 20 hours of work into this, I'm going to come out and vote for that person, not realizing other people exist.
Well, that's another thing. I think,
Yeah.
Now, aside from the moral issue, which, well, it's easy for you to be a white guy and,
Mhm.
and have the luxury of being able to vote for a third party, and any resulting legislation from a Trump administration is not going to affect you as much as if you're a transgender or
Yeah.
part of the LGBT community or a minority group or whatever. And I get that. And I don't necessarily think it's cool, especially in swing states. If you're voting third party in a federal election in a swing state, to me that's just fucking irresponsible. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Now, if you're in like a super red state like mine, it's a little, a little different. But in a purple state, I don't know if I would do that. Okay. Especially as a privileged person.
This election has really opened my eyes to that, because what I told myself was, before I left to go to the polls, if Hillary was winning by like 4% in our state, I would vote Gary Johnson. If she was under 4% or losing, I would vote Hillary. I got home from work, she was at like 6% of the vote, or 6%, and so I went, okay, I'll vote for Gary Johnson. I went and voted, and she lost the state. And it's like, come on. I just based it off of
It's your fault.
Nate Silver's website thing there.
Yeah, he fucking bit the big one on that one. Wow. He lost all the credibility.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But after that, and hearing people's responses, and me getting more involved in these social things, I came to the same conclusion that you did. It's like, when I was voting libertarian, I was voting for what I thought for my best interest, and I was not thinking of the community, the American community at large. And to me, that realization changed how I interacted with politics. I don't care what tax bracket I'm in. I don't care where this falls and that falls, because again, like you said, I'm a privileged straight white dude. I'll land on my feet somehow. I need to care about the people that won't, and that's what changed my thinking and all this.
I did want to kind of swing back to the federal issue, and the second issue I had with the people blaming third parties to this kind of thing is that if you can't put a strong enough and this is especially true on the Democratic side, it usually affects them disproportionately, which isn't fair, whatever the fuck, but that's just the case. I would argue that the Democrats aren't as good as pulling people in from the progressive side as they should be, whereas the Republicans seem to integrate the Tea Party. But that's a whole fucking other issue. If you're blaming 1,100 people basically on the fact that you can't put forth a viable candidate, which that's not to say they're not viable. I'm talking about all around. I'm not just talking experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about, what they've done in the past, whatever. I'm talking about all around candidate. And that includes baggage, fair or not. Okay. Let me say that. Whether it's fair or not, it's a fact. And especially if you're putting it on like a coronation. Okay. I feel like Hillary's run was, from the very beginning, was more like a coronation rather than an actual fight. And that's why I think Bernie got so much traction, was because I think people are just like, what the fuck? Why do we, And of course, the Republicans hate Hillary. I'm not fucking stupid enough to think that. They love fucking, even now, she didn't win. She's not even in public life anymore. They are still using her as as a fucking boogeyman or whatever. And that's fucking pathetic. But to me, to blame a third party, and this goes for Nader back when W got elected, to blame a third party on the fact that you lost basically 1,100, then your shit wasn't that great. You need to look at yourself. Okay? Instead of blaming, it's just like, quit blaming other people. Y'all fucked up. Y'all need to get more progressive. Well, let's just keep, and they just want to keep doing the same fucking thing. They keep wanting to put, well, let's just put more neoliberal centrists out there. That's great. That's a great idea. Why not try something a little different,
So what you're saying is, don't blame the referees, blame your goaltender for not making enough saves.
Okay, I see we're going to have to address it. I see we're going to have to address it right now.
But no, let's go back to I want to stick on the politics thing.
No,
you're right. I mean, that's the number that I always go back to, is voter turnout, period.
Oh, yes.
If
yes,
17 people show up to vote, you don't blame those 17 people. You blame the 300,000 that stayed home.
Exactly.
That's where the blame goes. Yes, there are a lot of restrictions to that. And I think as we progress in this society, we need to remove those restrictions from the voting laws and all of that, open and national holidays so that everyone's off work. And I mean, I get all of that, but I'm saying we had people that could get out and vote and all of this stuff, and it just didn't happen. And it hasn't happened pretty much ever in this country. And you hear about like other countries that have like 96% turnout, and it's a tragedy because it wasn't 98%. And I don't know what we need to do to get these people to care. I think you're right in that we need to find these candidates that can invigorate a large number of people and not just cater to one tiny specific section.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take. I'm just hoping before we die in a nuclear holocaust that Trump has brought on, if we get to the point where we start to get younger candidates and more people of POC candidates and more women. Yep. In fact, a majority of women. Let me just go ahead and tell you that right now. I would be fine if they were all women. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. To me, that'd be fucking awesome. If we get to the point where we haven't destroyed the fucking country by that point, that'd be great. I think with the internet, of course, with the caveat that internet's got good and bad. Not everybody knows how to distinguish between the information.
Mm-hmm.
But with the information in general, I think that people become more well informed. I think from what I'm seeing, the millennials, for all the shit they get, because apparently no generation ever has shit on the generation after them, because that's never happened. That's never been a thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, it happens with every fucking generation. Come on. Hopefully, it looks like they're more progressive, so we'll see.
And more non-religious.
Yes, and that's another thing. And I want to go ahead and say now we're in kind of the humanist side of things, that I don't give a fuck if you worship sliced bread. Okay, keep your shit out of my public domain. Okay, keep it private. That's fine. The separation of church and state needs to, be strong. And I feel like, especially in the South, of course, they're always trying to fucking poke holes in it.
That's another one. I don't know how. That's a fight I see, on the downslide as of late, with all of the things coming on. Yeah, I just think that we need to, like we keep saying, we just need to start caring about other people. You won't have church and state. You won't have church crawling their way into the state if you care that your Muslim friend is going to see the statue of Jesus. You're not going to care. You're going to start to care about these issues when you start caring about other people. And I don't know how you do that.
The empathy gap is huge.
Yes.
And I don't know either, to be honest with you. In this country, just this whole myth of individuality, the bootstrap mentality, like you never use any public services to ever get anything done. Like, these fucking rich bastards. We did it ourselves. No, you didn't.
Along with all the video games and the hockey and stuff, trivia is a big part of my life. Do you know where the term "pull yourself up by the bootstraps" came from, or the origins of it, or whatnot?
Sounds military to me.
It was designed to describe a situation that's impossible. So when they tell you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, they're literally telling you to do something that's impossible, because you can't pull yourself up by the straps on your boots. And now they're using that as a term. Yeah, they're using that as a term for like empowerment and stuff. And it's impossible.
What are bootstraps, though?
Picture like, did you ever see Doc Martens and the loop on the back? It's kind of something like that, like a strap that's attached to your boot.
Right,
and they're used to pull on. But you can't pick yourself up with that because, gravity and strength and all that stuff. So when they used to say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, it's, go dig an ocean-sized trench. It's an impossible feat. And just as of as it kept going, it meant to mean like, do it yourself. And that's the origins of the term. And I think it's funny that, the Republicans are using an outdated term wrongly. Imagine that.
They're all about business. They don't fucking care. Oh, I wanted to. Susan actually is a quiz master.
Yeah.
So she might appreciate the trivia thing you just did right there. Wow, it's already. Before we go, because apparently I don't even know what time it is. Cats.
I
love cats. Love cats.
Yep.
I see you. Now I post more memes, but you post actual. Your cat has an actual Facebook page and Instagram. Is that right?
Yes, correct. I had a feeling that in my head it was. I post a lot of the pictures because I think he's fucking adorable, and I just picture people getting tired of that on my feed a lot. So what I did was I made an Instagram page and the Facebook page so that the people that wanted to see all the pictures of JoJo can, and the people that don't, they don't have to see it. So it's kind of an opt-in situation.
Well, you're nicer than I am. I say, fuck you. If you don't like the cats, you can fuck right off. But that's just me.
We got to reach them with the other stuff too.
That's true. The good, kind of the, what are they, the hardcore kind of, stick it to them, and kind of the more, diplomatic side.
Diplomatic, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad I think that's awesome that you have of course, some other people might say it's kind of sad. I myself say, fuck you. Cats are awesome. They need more fucking Instagram places. And I told you that I said this on the last episode. Zach brought to my attention the beer cats.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all need to go check that fucking shit out right this second. Meow. Right meow.
I just drank my first beer. I have a bottle, so I'm going to set up a JoJo picture and I'm going to submit it to them probably this weekend sometime.
Good idea. And speaking of which, you put a picture up of some disgusting fucking sour. Oh,
yep. Yeah.
What is it again? What's
Sour Me This by Dew Claw Brewing.
And where's
the makers of Sweet Baby Jesus.
Oh wait, yeah, I've had Sweet Baby Jesus before.
Mm-hmm. It's the same maker made this sour.
It's ridiculously expensive too.
This was like, I think $14 for a 6-pack. $14 for a 6-pack.
Yeah, that Sweet Baby Jesus shit's just all that stuff. And what's the name of the brewery again? It's Evil Twin, right?
Dew Claw.
Where am I getting Evil Twin? Anyway, that may be a different one, but okay, where are they based out of? Do you know?
I want to say it's Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay. Well, fuck.
Kind of in
Baltimore.
between us.
Is it? Baltimore
Ish.
is Baltimore south of Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm bad. I've been to Baltimore. I thought, of course, I wasn't
It's
driving.
much east. It's much farther east.
Baltimore's 12 hours from here. I know
Yeah.
that. Oh god, that'd be even further. I don't know if you're worth it. Maybe I don't know. But we did mention that if you ever came down here, you'd have to park your car like in Nashville. We couldn't have you driving around rural Tennessee with that shit.
No, I probably wouldn't want to. I was a little nervous going to Indianapolis.
That would be fun. Well, not fun. That'd be a good documentary idea, actually.
Uh-huh.
I think if we could just like have a camera, we just see what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Driving through fucking rural areas anywhere to see what happens. I don't know if I have that kind of stamina if I could deal with the stress, but you know,
body armor.
Well, maybe we could do like Fear and Loathing or what's it called? Yeah, Fear and Loathing, where we can like take all the drugs and like we're just driving and
yeah. I don't care. They're throwing rocks at me. I'm high as fuck.
yeah, I don't know. Fuck them.
Exactly.
We have a camera with us anyway. I just completely went off the rails with that. One more thing, you need go ahead. Fuck you. And this is where we're going. This is where we're going. They cheated. They fucking fuck Crosby. Crosby gets all the calls, and you're lying if you say otherwise. Because he's the golden boy, and that's the way. And I don't care what sport it is; they always put the calls that way for the favorite team.
It's not that he's a very gifted player, so he has the puck the majority of the time, and the defenses are harder on him because he's a skilled player. It's all just buyouts or something. It's all money, backdoor deals and stuff. It's the skill thing, and it's like I've seen plays where a guy has a free pass to the net, Crosby's double teamed, and they pass it to him instead of taking the shot, and you just lose your mind. The same thing happened with Lemieux, because I've been a fan since '92. The same thing happened. He was a big, strong guy who could hang on to the puck, and so the other team like double teamed him and stuff, and that's where the calls came from. Frustration and skill winning out. Not like because they would have won more Stanley Cups. They would have had more wins. I mean, there was like 3-4 years of Crosby being on a losing hockey team.
Okay. You ruined it for us.
Cognitive dissonance coming at that.
We were doing the LA Kings thing. They were fucking HC too. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Well, you fucked it up. It was a Cinderella story, and you broke the goddamn glass slipper, man. The pumpkins are supposed to turn. They're supposed to turn them pumpkins after midnight, motherfucker. Anyway, I'm telling you, man, we got some shitty calls. Crosby banged somebody's head on the ice, man, and they were sitting right there.
I will tell you this: I am not a fan of the cheap shots and the dirty shots, regardless of who does them. I would love to see the NHL be how it is during the All-Star game, where it's all skill and free skating and fast pace back and forth, and the score is 14-11 or something, just based on that, and not.
That's more the international game. If you watch the international game, it's like that more.
Yeah, because that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I would be more. I think is more enjoyable. It's not the smash, like you said. I've seen Crosby punch a guy in the balls, for crying out loud, and I think it's reprehensible that happens. I can send you a link if you haven't seen that one. That's an interesting one. A guy's bent over on the ice and Crosby comes up from behind and just punches him right.
I'm sure I could put keywords in. There's like, oh, look, Crosby's awesome. He punching in the balls.
I like I said, I think that behavior is reprehensible as well. Just, it doesn't matter the jersey.
You're no fun.
But like I said, I've been a Pens fan since '92. I was 8 years old or something like that, and I've just followed them since. And a majority of the time, that was losing terrible years.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I kind of fell out. I don't know. The last couple of years, I just haven't given a fuck. I just started paying attention the other year because what? We beat who?
Yeah.
We swept them in the first round. Wait a minute, let me go drink some beer and go to the bar. I haven't even been to a game in years because I was with them from '98 to like when they first got here. I was all up in it. I was all about it up until like I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I just stopped giving a fuck. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
you start to need to give it a fuck because hockey's amazing. It's the best sport in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch that more than I am anything else. But I just kind
of. We'll have to find a game or something.
Oh, they come here. Oh yeah. I'm going to come up there. Brandy says, "How far is Philly from Pittsburgh?"
I did the drive like 5 to 6 hours.
Well, that's not too bad, I guess. Yeah, I have a friend up in Philly, so I was thinking about going up there, and she's already said I could stay there. I wanted to go up there. I wanted to go up in the whole corridor anyway because I want to see. Apparently, New York isn't that far from Philly, which is kind of weird for some reason. I was thinking it was further. So we'll see. I mean, one of my vacations. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's less to get from Pittsburgh. I think it's less to get to New York than it is to get to Philly. They're really on opposite sides of the state.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I have a new computer. I have this stuff that I use for streaming, the camera and the microphone, and whatever you need, I can fill in for you.
Really?
I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Because I might call on your ass too. You say you ain't got nothing but time. However, I had to plan this shit out because you and your fucking SJW bullshit always planning shit, man. Get your priorities straight. No, I think that's awesome. At least you were sitting there saying, well, I have to go fucking to my Coke den that night.
Yeah.
I got to go help some kids. Oh, okay, great. Thanks for making me feel bad. Or whatever.
Well, I think the last time it was a pinball convention.
Okay, you don't get that one. You don't get a pinball convention.
I was working for Extra Life at the convention.
All right. Well,
I was volunteering.
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
But it was about 100 pinball machines and over 150 classic video game arcades that were all set up for free, and you could just go in and just go nuts and have fun.
I changed my mind. You can have that one. You can have that one. Although I want video next. I want some Facebook Live shit. We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Since you're so comfortable being on the camera now.
It doesn't bother me at all. I could do this for another couple hours.
Well, so could I, but I don't think anybody else would want to watch for a couple fucking hours. So.
Like I said, I played video games for 24 hours straight. It's no big deal.
God damn, I can't. Now, I would say that's why part of the reason I'm afraid to do that is because I know once I start playing, next thing I know, it's fucking 12 hours later. So I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's an addiction.
Mm-hmm. Just like anything else, it can be abused.
Yep. All right, Jeff. Well, why don't you go ahead and plug your stuff, which is voluminous.
I'm on Facebook, Jeff Prebeg. Twitter is Pit Atheist, PITT ATHEIST. If you're interested in the Extra Life thing, just go to my page, the jeffprebeg.com. That'll give you all the information there that you need, and if you feel inclined, you can throw a couple bucks. In on the cat thing, in August, what I'm doing is for every dollar I raise, I'm gonna do a bicep curl.
And I saw that.
I use my cat, and I'm up to 30 right now. But I got the idea from another person. They did dog squats. They just held their dog and did squats. And I'm like, I don't have a dog, but I can have a cat.
Hey, whatever works, man.
Whatever works. So yeah, the Extra Life thing is fun. Facebook, Twitter. And my local group is the Pittsburgh Free Thought Community. So if anyone is out there in the Pittsburgh area, I mean, we've had people from West Virginia, close to Ohio, that we're kind of close to that border, tri-state area. If you're interested in coming out and hanging out with like-minded people, we're working on doing a lot more stuff as of late, more activism stuff.
Somehow I'm going to bring my ass up there. I don't know how it's going to come up, but I need to bring my ass up there somehow.
Absolutely.
Because I haven't been up there since my dad lived in Baltimore. Well, that general area. I haven't been up there. So
awesome. We'll do stuff.
Let me read the outro and keep you on here, because I wanted,
Yep.
Of course, so the music is by ... which, like I said last time, I haven't bought their album. I feel horrible about, because the guy's cool. I know the guy's pretty cool. cdbaby.com/cd/... is where you can get the album. Now, what I usually say is the logo, or new and approved logo, by Jeff Prebig. Is it Junior? Is that right?
I am a junior, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, because that's what I have on here. On Twitter at Pit Atheist, because that's what you told me to put when you gave me the logo. Facebook.com/Podunk Polymath, Twitter at Podunk Polymath, email podunkpolymath@gmail.com, YouTube, guess what? It's the Podunk Polymath. Google Plus, are you on Google Plus? Does anybody
I haven't used it. No.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does that. They try to make it a thing, it never got to be a thing. You can become part of the Patreon posse, patreon.com/Podunk Polymath. Call in phone number, which maybe I can guilt somebody else and call in this phone number, 615-378-POPO-7676. You can come in the Podunk Polymath Podcast Posse Facebook group, which honestly I don't mess with much anymore, but you can come in there anyway. I don't know, why not? What else you got to do except go to pinball conventions? Apparently, the Podunk Polymath Podcast Posse. All those were separated by periods. Online store is Zazzle.com/podunk_polymath. Of course, if you look on the sidebar, you'll see links to PayPal. You can subscribe on RSS, Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher. Patreon button. You can like the page, recent post, recent comments, or you can follow me on Twitter or follow the page, which is at 59. All right. Well, Jeff, again, thanks for coming on. I'm going to hold you to your word on that. In fact, I'm wondering at some point if we can get both you and Zach on. Zach Law, since apparently there was some synchronicity going on there, because you went on his show, he came on my show, then now you're on my show.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what the world needs is more white guys talking together.
Totally. We're like right here at the privilege level. White straight dudes.
Yep.
Now, he may have a little higher. I think he's got a little more money, maybe. But we're still within the fucking same room. We're not rich. Let's just be
not by any means.
So, but we live in semi-major cities. Pittsburgh, Nashville, Atlanta's way bigger. I know that. Nashville and Pittsburgh are probably about run the same. But yeah, thanks for calling. Maybe we can set that. Who knows? I mean, if you're not busy helping kids and shit, you and your goddamn causes.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm more than happy to come on and help you out.
All right. Well, until next time, y'all take it easy now. Okay.